That's going to be the hit. The burn is on, and they also drop Chaser.
T1 has really good at DPS because their mid and AD carry is insanely good.
And it looks like Immortals is going to be able to walk out of this. No, gets back charmed on the rappel down. Flame now tries to go in the fight, one after the other.
TSM are returning with Doublelift onto the roster. They are reuniting that 2016 summer split, 17-1. Bjergsen hoping maybe it's going to be 18-0 this time.
And TSM going to return to the LCS with a 2-0 victory, convincing at that, knocking down Cloud9.
Xmidi really enabled Pobelter to shine in their series that they played on Friday, and Pobelter just played really well in every single game.
I think that Xmidi has a really good eye for macro gameplay.
I was going to say to make a move, and they are going to. Pobelter hit over Unraveled Earth, but they're able to drop Nori immediately.
The guys who were reunited from CLG 2015 summer, man, they're crushing it. Like, that was crazy.
Welcome fans both in our studio and at home to the North American LCS. Teams look to end their first week on a high note with our matches today, as fans are fired up as ever to see week one close out in fascinating fashion, if we will. We've got Arcade Ezreal cosplay here joining us today. That's some fashionable cosplay we have there. TSM as well making their way into the studio moments ago. Bjergsen looking to close out a nice week for himself. Immortals, the Xmidi version of Immortals, making their way into the studio up against Envy later today. Apollo and the rest. Phoenix One readying up on stage. Zig in the top lane, and Nori in the jungle. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson. Joining me on the analyst desk is someone who always brightens my day, Mr. Mark Zimmerman.
Happy to be here. No Kobe to bring us down this time. The
That's
clouds.
right. Exactly.
Kobe's always such a negative person.
The most negative, the most
Just
negative.
us two to be happy.
All right, let's begin by looking at how week one has played out so far. CLG, they ended their weekend 2-0, while teams like FlyQuest and Phoenix One search for their first wins in our matches today. It all starts with our first series when Flame and Immortals face off against TSM on NALCS 1. Followed by FlyQuest taking the stage opposite Team Dignitas. If you're tuning in on NALCS 2, your first match pits Team Envy versus Phoenix One, then Rainover and Team Liquid look to take a win off Acadian and Echo Fox. While we anticipate how today's matches will shake out, CLG and Cloud9, they've already completed their weekends with surprising results.
Yeah, I think you can be cautiously optimistic about CLG. They got a 2-0, which is great, but also the fashion it happened in. You didn't see Dardoch having his traditionally strong early game, so there's something to look forward to when that starts rolling around. Also, their macro wasn't great, something that CLG usually improves throughout the course of the season. And on the flip side, you have C9 taking a loss to CLG, and this is a team I think you can actually be cautiously pessimistic about in a sense, where, yeah, they lost to two of the toughest teams in CLG and TSM most likely, but it was the fashion that they lost it in. It wasn't super convincing. They need to integrate Ray better, and these are some things that over the course of last season, they didn't actually improve that much at. So you might be in a situation where C9 starts getting overlapped by some of these other teams in the league. And so it's, like we said, it's pretty early. You don't want to, be completely negative on them, but it is not the start you're looking for.
Absolutely. To your point on CLG, the fact that most of their wins were coming from playmaking, out of Aframu in the bot lane, I think it does bode well for them and the evolution of this roster as it will be throughout the summer split, that, hey, Dardoch isn't doing what he's done in the past and being a huge star just yet.
Yeah, but still being successful is the critical thing. If he can combo with the rest of CLG to actually make good team plays as opposed to, like, I'm in their jungle solo killing them, I think that's exactly what would make CLG one of the most formidable teams in the league.
And while for him it's about finding his footing on a new team, I want to jump back over to TSM as Doublelift slots back into this roster. They came away with a nice victory yesterday.
And overall, they look great. It didn't look like Biofrost and him really missed a beat at all in the bot lane. Able to get a 2v2 solo kill versus Sneaky and Smoothie, who traditionally was probably the strongest bot lane that we were seeing last season, so it's great to see them bouncing back strong already. And then it changed the way the whole team plays as well. You saw a lot more jungler attention down on that bot side, out of spend. freed up Ponster to take the 1v1 on the top side. The invades were going better, able to get that early blue buff, which seemed to trouble them a little bit at MSI.
Now, of course, that doesn't mean that his day one performance here was without mistakes. We did see kind of the classic double lift in the side lane post 20 minutes, sacrificing a Baron over to Cloud9, but, you know, all the while...
Got some farm.
Still, yeah, got some farm and still got the W. So, I mean, how mad can you really be if you're giving up the objective but taking the victory?
If you're a TSM fan, you're still happy to see him back. You'll take those mistakes. You'll know he'll improve. Got to knock the rust off that came from solo queue.
And while we're talking about the bot lane, I want to talk about playmaking supports. We already mentioned Afromu as a player being a playmaker, but champion-wise, things like Rakan, Tom Kench, Bard, Thresh even coming back into the meta.
It's huge as a fan of League of Legends because you'd seen the kind of supportive shield style for so long in the bot lane, maybe like a little bit of harass with Zyra, but really not playmaking the way. You can see the difference between an Afromu Bard and Rakan versus some of the other people in the league. Smoothie had a decent Rakan, but it was not at the same level, and you get to really see playmakers shine. As well as the fact that you see the Tom Kench being able to make these kind of map plays, Big coming up and using that a fair amount as well.
Yeah, so again, we're going to have to track how that develops throughout the split. I mean, Rakan is a champion that you mentioned, you know, we got the debut performance from Afromu where it really went off, and we saw kind of the upside and the potential of that pick, and then we've seen some more lackluster performances, so we're really going to have to track which supports are picking up what. Again, Smoothie did impress me even in the losses with sometimes his mastery and follow-up potential behind a contracts engage, but other players as well. We're going to look for them to really pick this up and find the most unique and most effective ways to use the champion.
And it's just a great way for that role to shine. It's traditionally been like a little hard to appreciate the difference between me, Karma, you know, empowered shielding versus another player where, you know, you're turning off a Baron, it's an easy situation to play out. Here, finding the perfect angle at the Rakan, the right timing, knowing you're comboing it well with the rest of your team, those are the kinds of things that really make that role shine.
Yeah, perhaps more Pogs go to supports.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Playmakers in the lineup. Now, during yesterday's show, we asked you to show us how you LCS, and we want to feature a couple responses that caught our eye. First up, Harry Freeman said, when you have construction to do, but it's the first week of the North American LCS. I wonder what he's building there. That's the question.
I mean, he's got the name Harry Freeman. I feel like every time I hear that name, they're doing great things. You got Gordon Freeman, Morgan Freeman.
Boom.
I don't know what other
two great
ones
Freemans.
there are. Yeah.
Harry's another one. Hope you're building something awesome. Hope you're able to maybe take a break here on the Sunday
watch some games,
and enjoy a real day of LCS. Next up, Taylor Lavati says, the face when both are good games, so you got to watch them both. Well, I tell you what, that's what we do every day back here. Watch both side by side.
That's both NA games, right? That's not an EU broadcast on one of those?
It better not be. Better be watching both.
I don't know. I wouldn't call those good
It's
games.
a challenge, though. I mean, Taylor Lavati could probably speak to it. It's one of those things where you don't realize how hard it is to catch everything in a game of League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we got both going live at the same time. We're in both games to rewind, rewatch everything.
Yeah, we at least have the benefit of being able to rewind and watch things that we missed to keep up with the times. Well, anyway, we can never have too many tweets, so keep using that hashtag HowILCS. But while that's enough from us, let's send it over the casters to get the day underway.
Thank you very much, Das. Welcome, lords and ladies. I am Rivington Business III, and this keen color commentator and the man of positivity is Sam, Kobe, Hartman, Kensler. I don't know what they were talking about.
This is how I like to LCS, with Riv next to me.
We are eager to bring you into our first match of the day as Immortals goes against TSM. On Friday, we got a glimpse of what new Immortals looks like with Smithy now in the jungle.
Oh, yeah, and it looked good. Everybody was a little worried about the trade with Dardoch, but Smithy, he's bringing shot calling to the team. Team atmosphere, they say, is really good. And talk about setting up Pobelter. A lot of really good early ganks, especially towards that mid lane. He's setting up plays for this team. And Pobelter, rank 1 in North America right now. Also really good first set of games for him, so definitely something to watch out for.
And the kind of playstyle change has made IMT quite exciting to watch. Even Doublelift said he looked forward to facing IMT's bot lane and Cody Sun and Olay.
Yeah, Doublelift did actually have some words of praise for this bottom lane as, they did very well against Phoenix 1 yesterday. Doublelift himself, though, did extremely well in their opening game, and Biofrost right next to him. The synergy between these guys is still there, and Biofrost is really taking that playmaking support style in his own hands as well. Good Tom Kenches, as well as Lulu knockups. Just definitely good things from the bottom lane of TSM.
And something that has been spoken about, another benefit of Doublelift's return in his in-game communication. It's something Bjergsen thinks is a boon for TSM.
A lot of people think it's really bad to have like multiple shot callers or communicators, but I think ideally all 5 players should be contributing a lot in terms of the map and their roles, and every single player has to communicate for themselves what they want to do with their champions, with their leads. So I think having Doublelift come in and be another really communicative player will actually help us a lot because that means we have one player in each lane that's really communicative, and that's going to make it a lot easier to play on the map because say we make a play top, we're going to understand how that's going to affect bot lane and the other way around because every player is vocal both on the offense and defense.
Being an elite team is like a relationship, Riv. Everybody needs to communicate. You need multiple partners.
Love, get out the hate, just the love. Let's dive into the roster rundown. On the blue side, it will be Immortals. To start things off, that means it is Flame in the top lane. Xmithy coming out in the jungle. Belter holding down mid lane. Cody's son at bot. Ole at support, and Coach Robert Yip.
And on the red side, it's TSM. Up top is Hanser. In the jungle, Svenskeren. Mid, Bjergsen. Bottom, Doublelift. Support, Biofrost. And Coach Parth on stage.
And speaking a little bit to Bjergsen there, what he was saying about the team, the communication being back, it also brings back the comfortability of being in lane alone. We saw Biofrost roaming quite a bit yesterday because of the pressure they had in lane. It helped Bjergsen in mid, and the communication seemed to be quicker early in the game for TSM.
Yeah. There were definitely a lot of positives for them. Not everything went perfectly, though. They did have mid-game, Doublelift was bottom lane. They had Hunter on the top lane, and the Baron was taken away from them in the mid-game. So there are definitely things to clean up as far as allocating their lanes and pushing out those side waves. But definitely a good start to the season for them.
A few of those moments we remember as well, backings at MSI and positionings. Maybe a few of those cobwebs they need to kick out. We will have to see here as we head into Champion Select. And we have Immortals versus TSM here. Our final day of the first week of the summer split. It has gone by quite quick. Quite a few best of threes, and we'll see if this one goes the long haul.
Yeah, no surprise here with the LeBlanc ban against Bjergsen. Syndra might also find her way onto the ban. I definitely do expect Elise following through to pair up with Zach as far as the junglers. Those have been the two most banned. And then Hanser played a bunch of Kennen top lane. Syndra, correct. Hanser played a bunch of Kennen in the top lane for split pushing. And even though people haven't been that happy with that pick, they don't really seem to enjoy watching it for some reason, it is very powerful and definitely a strategy that deserves respect. Immortals also giving that respect there, taking that ban away.
One final for TSM. They've shied away from somewhat of the Lulu Karma compositions, may find themselves banning one and picking only one.
Yeah, it's interesting now, right? Because the go-to used to be never give away Lulu. She got nerfed, plus with the rise of playmaking supports, not only Rakan, who had the spotlight yesterday, but Thresh is very big now again, and these are definitely some good Thresh players. So I hope that we do get to see more of those playmaking supports with lots of mobility, lots of crowd control come into play here. Shen, though, right off the bat, Immortal is going to get some of that cross-map play going, and not to mention, he's actually quite good at holding his own in lane nowadays. We'll see if Hanser decides to go with some sort of split pusher to try and take advantage of the 1v1, or if they go tank to tank.
Something they did get a play on yesterday. Doublelift will take the Ashe back in. First surefire initiation, if you will. And may decide to go ahead and just lock into support with that combination in the bot lane. Flame on the Shen did get a play on that already this split. Did quite well, has the Renekton and the Jarvan as well. So this is his a little bit more supporty side of play for Immortals in the top lane. Or lock-in, it was left up for that first ban phase. And Hanser's going to have quite a fun time.
Yep, there's the answer to question number one. Hanser will most definitely take the split pusher into Shen. Fiora, everybody knows about the 2-item power spike, but if there's even jungler attention early to get this Fiora going, could definitely be a problem for Immortals. We'll have to take a look at how the jungle picks come through, because nobody looking like they want to lock one in early. There's definitely still a lot of options available. And it looks like it's just going to be Cody's son's Varus.
Yeah, both AD carries playing the other AD carry they've played besides Caitlyn, since it's banned out. The Varus for now, Cody's son, and Ashe's double.
I like how they hovered over the Rakan as well, just to get that in your mind, in case everybody wants to try their hand at it. I feel like that's one that you do need a little bit of extra time, and as I said on the Analyst test, not all Rakans have shown up equally as strong as Afro moves. Here we go, though. Smithy on his Lee Sin. Now, this is not typically a champion that people who just started watching competitive would associate with him, but if you remember way back to the days of, Vulcan Esports and Smithy in those days, Lee Sin was one of his premier champions.
Back.
Doublelift himself is the guy who actually started calling Smithy Dandy Light. It was definitely a very big compliment at the time, Dandy being on Samsung, the best team.
Smithy's had his fair share of role playing too. Makes me think of all the other teams he's been in, AD carry and then other positions.
Yeah, but it
It
really does look like, back on or switching over to Immortals here, Smithy, his Elise game.
Right.
Leesen's right in that same vein. It looks like he really does want to create early plays, want to set up his laners for success early on. I think that is the correct style for jungle right now. Just power farming jungle, the rewards are just not there anymore. And we'll see the difference with junglers that really try and affect those lanes early on and get people like Pobelter going early. Speaking of Pobelter, Talia being banned away from Bjergsen, more mid lane focus here as Immortals drop 3 bans into that lane.
Might look like an RE game for Pobelter if they don't decide to ban it out. We're gonna have to somehow stay away from all of this quick attack coming in from TSM that can hit pretty fast. We see the second ban being Tom Kench, something Ole brought out yesterday also with that Lulu they still have to go for.
Yeah, that very well could be the case, as Orianna's probably the most blind pickable mid lane still left up right now with
still blind.
With so many of these bans here. You still have to worry a little bit about Fizz, and Fizz has really gained a lot of popularity lately as far as the assassin mid lane players have gone. But yeah, definitely Orianna highly prized. Would not be surprised if they decide to go with that one for Pobelter either. It's been one of his most successful champions as well.
Svenskeren going with the Viking. A little bit of lockdown already seen on the team. If he can run through that, it's pretty squishy backline so far to look at.
Yeah, right now, TSM, they've got a lot of crowd control coming from the bottom lane, so that frees up, top and jungle picks to beat these DPS and bruiser champions. Already looking like they want to get the split push going. Olaf is one of the few that can go toe-to-toe with Lee Sin early on. Kha'Zix and whatnot would be other answers, but here we go. Ole Bard.
Used it quite well. A lot of what IMT was doing with their compositions yesterday was throw rotation. Ole was out of lane fast. They used the journeys well. They're going to lock in these again and hover the Ahri as the last pick.
All right, it is going to be a lot of pick potential here. Ahri plus Shen to have a little bit more confidence, and then that Bard to pick off people that are roaming around. TSM, what will Bjergsen run into this Ahri? Now, it's actually interesting. I talked to a lot of different mid laners about the various matchups. Mid lane Galio, though.
Wow.
Rising a lot in priority. Faker was happy to play it. And Bjergsen will be as well. There was just yesterday that front page Reddit post about a Bjergsen play on the Galio outplaying Katarina. See if he can do the same to Pobelter here.
I believe it. It was on the internet, and I saw it.
And one of my favorite things about being able to have that last pick for your mid lane, to be able to have this kind of wild card of Galio, you're already showing this Fiora split push. And Galio in mid lane, there's so many options of, my favorite types of player are like, mid laners trailing the other split pusher, or Galio ulting from mid lane to go help Hauntzer if Hauntzer is attracting too much attention. Really like the way that this TSM lineup has rounded out, but again, Immortals. Smithy's gotten that Lee Sin for the early playmaking possibilities. If he can get Pobelter rolling on this assassin, they might be able to get this Shen composition off the ground.
All right, you see the comps as we load into game. Hashtag IMT win, hashtag TSM win. Keeping an eye basically everywhere this game, as we would. We're going to be watching it from the skies above, but that bot lane. Doublelift singing the praises of Cody and Ole recently here in the summer split, and now back on TSM trying to make his mark in the bot lane with Biofrost. We'll see how these two match up. Both teams coming in with the victory here to start off the split. We'll see who gives each other the first loss.
Silence over the crowd. Question number 1. How many Doran shields will be purchased in this game? Over 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. One more. We have a complete selection now. Obviously, everybody's well aware of the current state of the power of this starting item. Smithy almost left the fountain without jungle items, but heads back very quickly. And Immortals actually coming out with a bit of an early game rush here. They're looking to capitalize on, Zyra's tendency to look for seeds far up in the lane, basically. So often we'll see the Zyra position far up to try and get those seeds to spawn early up in the lane phase for extra lane power. But Baofrost not going to play it too dangerously. Stays by his turret, and he will not be caught.
Got a little too antsy.
Meanwhile, TSM take this opportunity while everyone is distracted bottom lane. Hanser moves into the blue buff, gets that ward early down onto the blue buff, so they will assume that Smithy is starting on Raptors if they don't see him over there, which would be very weird if they did.
Minions have spawned.
Meanwhile, Galio as well as Olaf have decent AoE in level 1 and could get off to a very quick jungle clear. It looks like Svenskern's just going to go with the solo start here on his blue. Olaf very famously loves to get low in the jungle. No problem doing his own camp, doesn't need any sort of leash. Meanwhile, Pobelter helps out Smithy, and we'll see if Smithy can return the favor in that mid lane.
Definitely going to be a push war between these two. Once Bjergsen can get a little bit of ability power behind himself, it's just easy as you see him. Winds of War to the back line, go up and punch the front. You basically get the wave pushed in.
Yep, Galio, one of the biggest strengths there. And in addition to building triple Dorans into tank items, he's also got plenty of wave clear with just that tiny bit of AP. Ooh, that's high value there. You always want to get the Winds of War onto minions plus harassment if you can do it. Hanser takes a bit of extra damage here in the trade, but he's got control of the minion wave. His focus is on the minions and pushing them up now. They did, by the way, get a little bit of extra information on Smithy, because Smithy went straight Raptors over to blue, and the Hawkshot does see that the blue has just been taken, so Hanser should know that he needs to ward fairly quickly.
Svenskeren on his top side as well. Usually we get mismatched junglers, but it may actually be a meetup.
Hanser actually doesn't take that info. He doesn't ward quickly, and now Smithy
gone up quite far. Riposte is down from the last attack. The slow is there. He's going to flash forward for the next few. Brings it up. It's first blood. Going over to Immortals X Smithy.
Oh, Hanser not going to respect that the blue buff was cleared. Smithy heads right up there with a very quick route. Raptors blue into Gromp and a very easy blast cone plant for the gank. First blood going over to Immortals. Take another look here. The reason Smithy goes for the flash is guarantee no escape for Hanser, no possible way for him to dodge the Q, no possible way to escape. That's why Hanser holds onto his flash, so luckily for him, at least he does not blow his summoner there as well. Svenskeren hanging around here actually probably won't gain them too much. Flame has no reason, to play super aggressively at this point.
A sub 3-minute gank, pulling Hanser off guard. Teleport back to lane, Flame as well. And now towards the mid lane, Svenskeren looking to make a move onto Pobelter. Definitely a flash blown if they can get range here. There's the taunt from the Durand, and there's the flash. One last Reckoning swing, the charm to come in as well to give Svenskeren a few turret shots.
Flash down on Pobelter, and Ahri does not have that safety until you get to level 6, so gonna have to be a little bit more cautious, and Bjergsen should be able to control the wave now very easily, even from this point on. And now that's a high value gank because Bjergsen had already used his teleports to get back to lane. So now he can just retain lane pressure here, whereas Pobelter is gonna need to go back to the fountain, and he's going to lose off at least one minion wave and give time for Bjergsen to either go for a roam play or go for that recall again. Pobelter does stick around as Smithy's come over to try and help him hold this wave and hopefully not lose out on too much CS.
A little bit of bot side love from Svenskeren as well. He's going to be meeting Xmithy in just a second on this Raptor camp. ward in from Svenskeren with the help of Bjergsen, and now they're starting to pressure what they've done to Pobelter in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is all domino effect from the mid lane. Olay comes up with the flash.
Ooh, flash miss on the Cosmic Binding. They may be able to get the damage on to Xmithy, but they turn it around and Svenskeren melts.
That Olay Bard. Uh-oh, Smithy's not out of the water.
Bjergsen feels like he can pick one up. That's the red buff. That's the lockdown on Olay. Can Biofrost and Doublelift make it? Journey gets him out just in time, but with the safety of Doublelift and Biofrost on a faster roam, and Cody Sun staying 1 for 1.
Yeah, pretty quick here. And with that extra CS advantage, TSM actually almost evens up the gold. Top side is where they really want more of it to come through, though. And Hanser has been able to stabilize. Uh-oh. Root here lands on a Cody.
Flash blown becomes very difficult when you start to mismatch the backs of your bot lane. And we'll see the roam starting here from Olay.
Yeah, even though they have that ward in the tri-bush, and as soon as Sven sees Olay, he starts running away. There's a very nice magical journey there from Olay. Gets up there very quickly and allows them to get that kill. Meanwhile, Bjergsen takes things into his own hands. Didn't actually have to flash there. The last tick on Winds of War got the kill. But very close as Smithy was almost out of the area, and Bjergsen wanted to make sure he got it.
Unfortunate too, with Pobelter being so low, he kind of had to watch the entire time from just behind Raptor Pit.
Yeah.
Would have loved to participate in that.
That's why, this is the reason why TSM were forcing the issue around mid lane. Yeah. You know, because of the success of that gank, it gave Bjergsen control of the wave, and they made the call as a team, you know, to bring Svenskeren in for this counter jungle. But the surprise card of the Bard Roam caught them off guard. Meanwhile, down bottom lane, though, there's a lot of extra minions here for the TSM bottom lane to pick up. If they can see us under their turret without this pressure from Smithy, who's roaming through the jungle, then they should actually get a lead for themselves. And Smithy doesn't go for the bottom lane pressure. Just goes for that blue steel instead.
Nice. Not terrible for Bjergsen. He'd still love to have it. Winds of War, very powerful at clearing. He's going to start heading towards the top side so they can get vision. Ooh. With this leave of lane, they may want something bot for Immortal.
And it's important that Bjergsen roam top side. The range on Galio ultimate wouldn't be able to reach until he roams back down to this bottom side. He's made it back to his mid lane and could come, so Smithy has to be a little bit careful.
Mid lane sees 2 as well. That's going to be the rotation from Svenskeren all the way down. So Smithy has to find a smart path out. They have the wards to do so. And Flame and Hanser start going back and forth in the top side.
Yep, Hanser trying to just scale up here versus the Shen. Have to keep in mind that the Stand United will come in quicker than the teleport would, even though both of them technically could join the bottom fight. Big advantage, though, would be the Galio. And that's one of the things about mid lane Galio. You know, flexibility of using your ult either to the top side or bottom side of the map. Meanwhile, Pobelter has gone for that Ignite with the Ahri, looking for those pick kills.
Taking stock around the map, CS pretty even, as it were. Svenskeren focusing a lot of the Krugs and the Raptors. As you see his CS a little bit higher as they're even, though at level 6. Bit of a grand challenge onto Flame. It looks like he'll back off now. Those teleports are back up, so if these guys need to try and make a play off a back, they still can try to.
Yeah, good taunt away there from Flame. Pretty much times out the entire ultimate there from Hanser. Doesn't get too much value off of it. Little bit of deep wards here. Are going to see the roam top. You know, the Bard roam up top side has been seen by the ward already, and so has Smithy. So TSM know there are 3 members from Immortals up on top side, and they have the possibility of overloading on bottom. Problem is Svenskeren also on a ward, so everybody just playing cautiously right now with so much mixed vision.
A lot of pings going down onto Cody Sun right now. Directional pings, that is. Svenskeren will stay in the lane for now, and Bjergsen's just hovering enough to get that ult in.
Yeah, and, you know, with... They knew he didn't have flash, and he was up against the wall, but Doublelift just misses it. A little bit wide.
The crowd felt that one too.
Yeah, there was not much space that he left between the arrow and the wall, but just enough. And Cody Sun sidesteps.
Good push in the top lane here for Flame. Hanser and Svenskeren will be buddy-buddy for a moment, but he might just be on Krugs for too long. This gets pushed out by the TMS. Bjergsen backs as well. Pobelter uses this time to get some wards forward, and The first few kills have kind of just leveled out now. Nobody really has a gigantic... Nice little play by Hanser. Nobody has a gigantic lead. Still waiting for that first turret play to come through.
Yeah, I mean, you can... Ooh, actually...
This will help.
This will definitely help a first turret play. There are pings already going down, though. And while the Rift Arrow doesn't do as much damage, and it is very easily soloable if you're not interrupted, if there's any sort of contest, and Svenskeren is coming to contest, and it becomes very dangerous.
Going for a walk.
Yeah, not going to be the case, especially since this TSM composition, you know, if Ash Arrow comes back off of cooldown, you know, the Ash Arrow into an Olaf charging forward with Galileo ultimate on top of him is a very difficult engage to deal with. So Immortals have to be very careful about how they choose their battles. Hanser, though.
2 to 3 shots onto Hanser, trying to deliver a back riposte as well. He can do it for only so long. Smithy once again to the top lane for a combo onto Hanser.
Hanser's been playing this Fiora pretty risky up on the top side during the moments where he doesn't have any vision. Meanwhile, mid lane, Bard roams up.
Second time Ole's been doing these magical journeys, and will it be magical for Immortals? The fist back from Bjergsen to try and buy some time. Svenskeren can't enter the fight with him in a 4-man on mid instantly after an engaged top.
Wow,
who would have expected it?
Yeah, also didn't expect them to also use the Stand United, but Flame comes in as well. Meanwhile, what will TSM do after so many resources have been allocated towards that mid lane? They're trying to push them off bottom turrets. TSM wants to get, you know, first turret bonus, but Immortals very quickly back into position, back to defending. Falling down Svenskeren as well to the bottom side. They still want to pressure it. Bjergsen's technically still has ultimate, but it's pretty far away.
Pressure from Smithy just on the left. But an interesting bot lane, as we said, we'd keep an eye on it. Nice damage from the meeps on Ole.
Oh.
Dodges with the journey. Tempered Fate splits the team into 3, but it's not really going to give any positioning to Immortals. And TSM is ready to go right back at it with Bjergsen on the way down.
Yeah, Bjergsen's close enough to ult now, so they have to give him room. Svenskeren's going for it.
He's trying to get right in onto Cody's son. Expect to see that grand entrance quite soon. And they say, no, we'll take the turret, we'll take the advantage, and we'll just push up. Pobelter is out of lane right now. We don't know where he is.
Objective focus here. First turret, as well as being able to retreat and reset it before going for a dragon. They can actually start up another fight there. Cody's son does have his flash back off of cooldown, so it's possible for them to flash the next arrow that comes up, even if TSM decide to focus that duo lane. Meanwhile, Hanser's getting low again, and Smithy's heading up through the jungle past wards, though, so TSM should, again, know that he's coming.
Yeah, Biofrost already en route. Make sure that doesn't happen. He may get seen out by the Scryer's Bloom, and he does. So that's actually very good for Flame. The team actually just pings him and says, be careful in that side of the map. Doublelift's going to be farming bot. Once they see him, there may be pick potential from this team if the rest is on that top side. Pobelter's still getting pushed in mid, though.
Really liking the early game so far from Immortals, specifically Smithy's jungle path as well as Ole on the Bard. But this dive is definitely going to be aborted. No!
Possibly they didn't know Ole was on the back there. These guys are routing around everywhere, but it is Biofrost as well, right behind the team. Good dodge.
Cody's son lands his ultimate.
Heroes exit.
Nowhere to...
And it might be in the wrong spot. Gets the blast over.
Oh!
And it's going to be safe. Flashes for a little extra room. The blind charm into Orb of Deception coming through.
The arrow from downtown is coming, but will they even do anything off of it?
Oh, just to the left, the team's alerted. Oh, Hanser not going to hit him as he walks by the friendly arrow. And Doublelift had time in the bot lane with TSM's focus towards the top. There's been a lot of skirmish, but Doublelift has focus.
Yeah, remember that Cody's son roamed up to help out with that. So that was a bit of a scramble, but it was very successful for TSM to be able to get out of that without losing a member, considering Doublelift pushed 3 waves into the bottom turret, got half of that second turret's health, and currently is stealing away red buff by himself. But he was last seen by this ward, so They think he's still in there.
Chain of Corruption halfway down, a piercing arrow, Tempered Fate dodge into a flash. He is not leaving anything to chance.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if he's punished for using his flash to steal this red. Olay wants to make him pay for it.
I think it's just wards now. It's almost when is too far, but they know when is too far. Top lane is kind of thwarted out by Flame. See Fiora, Haunter, and Svenskeren trying to get a little bit back off of not a lost lane, still pretty even in CS, but Flame going to be quite big in the front line of these fights.
Yeah, the extra kills for Immortals are nice on Haunter, but as you said, Fiora's focus is getting her farm so she can get to her 2-item spike. Ravenous completed is definitely beneficial, but would really need the extra move speed and armor shred coming through from Black Cleaver as well before he really starts to take off. Dragon control right now being set up by Immortals. Shen, Stand United is available. It's post level 11, so that's level 2. Double Lift has the arrow.
Nice Winds of War on 3 members. They don't have to stay in it too long, though, as Immortals gets away. I think Smithy has quite a bit of gold, 1,300 to spend right now, which would be some power to use in this fight. Looks like they're still going to stay to at least stop a dragon from happening.
Yeah, Immortals, while they do have a nice gold lead right now, they're still very cautious considering the power of that engage we talked about with TSM. If they use the Ash Arrow into the Olaf and Galio, could be very threatening. Flame, though, is just taking it to Haunter right now, back against the wall to try and protect him.
But when you take a fight like that, you got to expect more is going to be coming. Another challenger enters the fight, and Pobelter looking for the kill. Haunter's been and diving. One last auto from Pobelter as they have to go way under the turret for that one.
Bjergsen is roaming up for the 2v1, but Bard is on his trail.
No flashes there to connect. He decides to turn around, and they're going to say, let's actually take out Owen. He's got himself in a bad spot. Cosmic Binding back against Bjergsen. The wall, and he's stunned. Justice Fist will not work, but it does get the Tempered Fade out. Who's buying more time is the question. Back into the fight comes Smithy. He's forced to flash out. Stand United onto him as well, as both teams don't like the situation. They back off.
Yeah, actually, Immortals using a lot there to re-engage onto a Galio. Bjergsen right now is very tanky after just getting the Spirit Visage completed. So they do burn the Stand United for very little gain there. Pretty much nothing. Take another look at this. Ooh, that was a sneaky little taunt there that snagged him as he was passing through. My favorite part of this, actually, though, is the hold on the charm by Pobelter until he gets to point blank, right? You see the riposte come out, and then right when he passes by him for the point blank charm, that is what ensures this kill. Sticks around for the last auto, and is able to complete it before Bjergsen gets in range to use his Galio ultimate.
They have to act fast. This is definitely down to the Immortals we saw last split as well.
Yeah.
Continuously pulling the trigger, there'd be a little hesitation, and the other team would collapse.
And this is why we keep talking about their, communication, and it just looks like they've improved their decisiveness and their playmaking so much. That's really the biggest change for this squad. Continuing to hold this lead over TSM, almost 20 minutes into the game. So Rift Herald, you only have another minute to take it, and it looks like TSM want to grab it before he expires. Sven starts it up. Should be an easy take for themselves. See if Smithy and Pobelter actually have anything to say about this. They're roaming over right now casually.
Flame as well, just off on the left wing.
All right, that was casual.
It is quite casual for what we're seeing. Nobody's even throwing out any abilities. Biofrost may be the first to set up these plants. All right, Bjergsen wants a hit. Durant taunt onto Flame. That's going to start the fight. Here comes the TP in from Haunter, and it looks like he may... Oh, he's not going to cancel that, actually. He had quite a bot lane to farm out, and they're just going to go ahead and maybe put some pressure mid.
Yeah, TSM definitely want to back off of that one. Even though Pobelter missed that charm, he still got a big chunk onto Biofrost. Zyra at this stage in the game very easily, 100%ed if that charm does land. So TSM gonna hold on to their cooldowns and wait for another fight. Cloud Drake's still up, but I feel like they'd rather have Rift Herald. There's so much standing gold with the outer turrets still up in this game. Only one turret down for each team. If you get Rift Herald right now, there's so many possibilities of cross map plays or trying to set up a team fight and getting multiple rewards if you're able to win that.
Monster back to get a pink board before he gets to lane. His teleport down, Flames stand united and teleport up for a possible next play.
1945, Riptail back to the void, and Baron takes his place, or her place.
Nice. And just that small gold lead. Right now, it's the outer turrets. One big fight, and I feel like you get 2 turrets at this point. It's almost like the prize grows. If the outer turrets are up later in the game, you get a big influx of gold once this one fight hits. A little bit of a skirmish here to the top side. Ole, more than any other support, I see finding himself in these little fights that he's getting out of for now. But once people start to figure it out, it might be a little bit harder for him to make those moves.
He definitely plays that aggressive roaming Bard very well. He's been able to create some stuff for Immortals early on in conjunction with Smithy.
Very close.
You can tell Immortals, though, even with this lead, I know they're kind of poking the bear right now. As TSM's five-man squad is very formidable as far as the team fighting goes. If they can nail down someone. Pobelta right now in mid lane, it's a little bit of harassment, but he's able to hold on to his ultimate.
Good push. Seems like they might use this for a little bit of vision control and adding a bit more cover. Sweepers are down for right now, so it's actually a scary move. You see power in numbers right now for the team as they head towards this top side.
Yeah,
Will be met.
I actually like the strategy Immortals are going for here, trying to keep TSM spread out. Pobelta's pressure is keeping Bjergsen just out of Galio ultimate range, but he's roaming up now. They're threatening this Olaf dive. As soon as he gets halfway, though, through the river, Immortals back off because they know the Galio ultimate coming in would be very scary. Doublelift's Ash Arrow is almost back off cooldown, and it's difficult to dodge both of those.
Interesting watching Pobelter match that roam as well, but now he starts to go down. Bjergsen's going to follow. That's not a chance for Bjergsen to go top, so we make it a 2v2 here in the bot.
Oh, there's the ultimate, but Pobelter roams down as well.
On that ward, they know what's coming as well.
I have to say, I mean, he's done a good job of either staying next to Bjergsen to threaten the charm. Uh-oh.
Whoa, Smithy going hard, kicks him into the T, and Svenskaren's got a Ragnarok immediately, hoping there was enough from Bjergsen, but he just used the alt bot.
Svenskaren too slow there with his ultimate. He doesn't respect Smithy. Smithy goes for the flash play, instantly gets him, no reaction, and with a late Ragnarok, he still got kicked in. It didn't matter as far as escaping it. Immortals again, just so quick with their execution. Gain some more advantages.
Snap Judgment 6-1 now. A 3,000 gold lead as they extend it, and finally Cloud Drake finds some friends. They're going to be taken down on the side of Immortals.
My goodness, I mean, so many people in the odds, and we're talking about the Smithy and Dardoch trade, and it seemed like almost everybody just assumed CLG won that trade, and the Dardoch end was better, but Smithy on Immortals has looked just so good. Much better than last split. And again, with a very crisp play there, able to extend that lead and add some extra speed to their team with the Cloud Drake.
I mean, he did say he's a team that he could put a voice to. There's a lot of players on the team that can already make these plays, make these moves. They just have someone make that definitive, where to make those plays and make those moves.
Yeah. All that being said, I still think Svenskaren should have respected Smithy and and Ragnarok early.
Absolutely.
So he doesn't get kicked in. All right, another Ash Arrow down too, though. Doublelift just using that. So TSM, they still have to play around those windows. As much as we keep talking up this big, AoE engage that they have with Ash Arrow into the Olaf and Galio plus Zyra, they keep missing Ash Arrows. It's not going to be able to hold anyone in place long enough to make it happen. And Immortals have done a very good job of playing the map here.
You see that turret in mid go down. As we said, it was going to be a big fight, and structures were going to start falling. Immortals now have a much easier time getting into the jungle. Svenskaren just getting a ward over the wall. He just got back up and used his Ragnarok again. Going to be tough for anything initiation side from TSM. Grasping Roots as Biofrost tries to deliver as much damage as he can before IMT gets out.
Okay, so if... Biofrost takes a bit of damage there as Ole sneakily gets back out.
So I said we're going to rename him Troll.
All right, though.
Everywhere.
For TSM, they do have a little bit of good news here. Hauntzer has gotten to that 2 item set on Fiora. He's continued to farm despite his 3 deaths. Scaling up here. Does have the AoE for pushing the wave as well as the extra speed now. And it's getting a little bit worrisome for Flame because even though, you know, they got a lot of kills on a Hauntzer, Flame didn't get any of the kill credit. Smithy, though, is coming down to try and keep Hauntzer honest still.
I like that. Keep him honest. Because this very well could turn into a 2v1 situation where Hauntzer comes out with an outplay.
Yeah, you can definitely see how the confidence is rising, though.
TSM control over the Baron pit. And the Smithy and the team say, all right, we'll make sure mid has to be respected as they start to route it down. Tempered Fate, Biofrost could be the hit. They have to focus, though, as he is now the back line. And big hit onto Smithy. He's going to go down first with the focus of TSM. They get caught, but yeah, Svenskeren finds himself falling as well. Pobelter still in a spot to try and push the lane / get a pick. He's not fully joining the team yet.
Ooh, yeah, it is interesting because while Flame tried to stand united into the fight, Smithy died before it completed, so that means that Flame still gets the push on the bottom side. And, you know, Immortals do have slight wave advantage here, but as we said, Hauntzer now with red buff, definitely way more scary for Flame to deal with in a 1 versus 1. Let's take a look at this as Smithy actually, this time around, he goes in right on Svenskeren and kicks him super early. Looks like they kind of wanted to abort the mission, right? They were hoping that they had more focus fire and more of a man advantage, but Belter still ends up finishing that kill onto Svenskeren and just ends up being that little bit of a gold trade. No objectives afterwards. All right, definitely going to really put more emphasis on their extra warding here because Immortals, they'd like to make that play again, but with the extra vision. So, you know, they can dodge things like the Ash Arrow. Bjergsen, at least now, no flash available on the Galio, so it makes Galio's initiation so much more telegraphed, and he's a little bit slow with a lot of his animations. So Bjergsen's time now is supposed to be getting creative, right? Finding a bush to come out from our... Oh, goodness!
I blinked.
Pobelter trails the split push, immediately moves in to take down Hauntzer,
and you can see how confident now Immortals becomes. Obviously, Svenskeren has to back due to safety, but Ole even confident enough to just keep chipping away, getting himself into trouble at some point there. The team's going to be behind him soon. The split push in the bot by Flame has not ended yet, and TSM's going to have to figure out how to call the audible here.
Yeah, this is Immortals' time to shine. The split pusher is dead. Hauntzer doesn't have teleport either, so they're going to 5-man the Baron. Brute force here. Sven does have his ult. He could run in for a smite steal.
Ghost isn't up. He would be walked in, but like you said, ult is there, so it won't really matter.
Oh, Bjerg!
He comes at Bjergsen, hardly taking any damage, but delivering across 3 members of Immortals. The front end burst is too much for Immortals to handle. On the backside, Flame is going to be there, but TSM doesn't want the fight anymore. They're going for the objective.
Hauntzer is back up. They would take a lot of damage on Baron. They're going to force it right now.
Tempered Fate, great job on a double lift. That stops a good amount of damage onto the Baron, but will it be enough to stop them from wanting it?
Hauntzer almost there, so that's a pretty big threat, but it looks like Cody Sun and Flame want to take it.
Ole's an instant kill if Hauntzer's over the wall. You can see his positioning to dash over, but he uses it to Baron. Cody Sun trying to lock one down. Flame goes in for the last hit on the team. Flame gets Biofrost. 20 or 2,000 health on Baron. Double kill for Flame. Ole goes in, he dies. Hauntzer's going off. Baron gets taken by Bjergsen, and TSM are looking to clean up the fight.
Cody Sun's got nowhere to run, and Hauntzer should be able to hunt him down here if you're with the extra Q range, but Cody Sun's got the Cloud Drake, and he's on the run. He can go for the execute. He's got the blast code. He's going to make it.
Oh, the volley coming in from double lift. Not going to be in range. They're cross lane now. Is he actually going to? He can't try to get out.
He better
there
go
we go.
for the execute.
He was going for the long execute. They know the time was up a bit ago. Didn't want to chance it. Pobelter's stopping out mid, but what a fight back and forth. TSM with Baron.
Yeah, exactly. We keep cautioning against this TSM AoE team fight. They have so many big tools, and with the Immortals here grouped up inside the Baron pit, Bjergsen, we said he had to get creative. He got creative. Around the backside, Smithy even helps him in. Oh my God, Smithy delivers the dash that Bjergsen was lacking. AoE taunts the entire team. What a betrayal. Here we go, though. There's the escape as the rest of Immortals try and get out afterwards, and you know how that one played out. Oh no, I didn't even catch that part, but
Feels good for Bjergsen.
Bjergsen got some help in getting creative there.
It's been so quick. Sometimes you don't think enough. I can kick him, but should I kick him? It's always the question in the end.
Answer for that one, nah.
Do not kick. Rewind. So a big surge for TSM in a game where, interestingly enough, seeing them backs against their walls for the beginning, holding off Immortals plays after they had crushed down the first 2 turrets, but now it's back to even here. TSM grabbing up some second tiers for themselves. Does it once again go back into a full fight? Red buff goes over to Svenskeren, and it looks like they're going to back off. Top push Hanser is respected here by Flame.
Oh my goodness, this might be remembered as one of the biggest betrayals of this North American split, because now with Baron buff, that gave TSM so much room back into this game. The gold lead has shrunk to just 1,000, and TSM still with the Baron buff are pushing in for extra gold.
Whoops.
Belter, though, finds the assassination and wants another!
Oh, they're on a double lift now. Somebody stayed a little too long to play. Flames on a double lift. The kite's there, though. He knows he can't reach it, and he's almost trying to get back and forth. Double lift should be able to walk out of this one alive, but you still have to remember Honker has top lane to himself. That brought Flame by.
Olay still on the case here with Bard trailing double lift. He's going to make him run all the way back. Does he magical journey for the 1v1?
He's got enough damage with the deep change. Makes him cleanse it out. No flash. Ignite's already off. Double lift.
One more journey. Olay is just tenacious
there.
on
Is he
the
going
bar.
to the right? Is he going to the left? He's got base gate. But like you said, wasting his time. Top lane gets taken down as Hanser does a little bit more work off the ball on the other side of the map. And slowly, TSM does what they do best and bring it to late game if they don't have the lead and find a major fight where they can run it down mid.
Yeah, gold brought almost back to even despite Pobelter's work here, getting the assassination onto Biofrost. Just runs right into him and then uses the next charges here to go straight for double lift. With the Shen stand united, they secure at least 1 kill. They know they're gonna get this. Double lift has to use both summoners or that would have been a double. So big ups there for Pobelter, taking matters into his own hands.
There's a Guardian Angel now for Hanser. He becomes much more formidable. We'll just have to wait a little bit until he gets pushed up back to the top. TSM will organize that to happen basically at the same time with the rest of the waves. So they're adding that pressure for Hanser towards a different lane. Good wards here from Immortals. Setting up with that Tempered Fate has been something they continuously go on. Olay on the side. Doesn't look like they want it just yet. They are waiting for Stand United if they were to get into a fight.
All right, Hanser now has GA and Hexdrinker on top of his core builds, and the split push Fiora has made it to the late game. TSM can rely on that for a guaranteed 1 lane of pressure. He still has to keep in mind, you know, Pobelter's roaming and the possibility of that Ahri trailing in for another kill. That's why that deep ward they just pinged out there you see by top lane, important, because Pobelter was going for the same play, and Hanser had to back off. Sven is wrapping around.
Oh, it's the pinch in. Double lift gets taken down immediately. Pobelter's trying to dash out. Svenskeren is charging and chasing the dashes.
Oh!
And that's going to be the Guardian Angel down on Hanser. Flash is already down, so he is stuck in his spot if he can't dash away. Flame picks up that kill, and the rest of the fight was just a ride for TSM as they were chasing too much.
Pobelter is insane, man. He gets there with the flash, takes down the priority target. Double lift is dead, then kites out Hanser, even with the ultimate up. That was actually incredible, and Immortals are looking to capitalize off of it.
Straight down the mid lane. Bjergsen off to the left, still has time to back, but he'll home guard up to this inhibitor turret. If they can get Cody Sun on it, that's the damage they need. Olay and Smithy already on the other side. This is going to be the kill as well on the Svenskeren. And now they're on the inhibitor turret, one after the other. TSM trying to guard alone, and they go down. 15-6, now spreading the gold lead a little bit more. to 3K. Immortals is going to make it out through the journey to Pobelter, already pushing the bot lane. This was all the way from their second tier, as Immortals has been working this after that mid fight.
So much taken after that fight. I kind of want to see the replay of it, to see if there was extra help from Olay setting it up. Regardless, though, Immortals get one inhibitor, multiple turrets, and they're not done yet.
Can't even push by it. The Winds of War is only doing so much to the front line. Biofrost half health after only a few spells hitting in from Pobelter, and they are out. So much action being taken on top of action from Immortals here. They want more, even if they're getting something.
Yeah, we definitely got to see that one again. Immortals get a pretty easy reset after the advantages, too. All right, let's take a look at it, because TSM are planning the flank. So they have Svenskeren coming around, and it is Olay, sets it up really perfectly with the Bard ult again, and the timing from Pobelter's charm, just as the Bard ultimate wears off. Both of those guys deserve the credits. Whoa. And then the kite here lands the charm at the last seconds onto Hauntzer. Man, Olay's Bard, early game, so much power from him, creating plays around the map, all the escapes that you talked about as well from him, really taking matters into his own hands.
It's one of those where you see the guy trying to push the champion and himself to the limit of what they can do and get out with 100 HP each time. It's so much fun to watch. Like we said, this is an exciting squad to watch this summer split from Immortals as they take much more action and take it into their own hands. 4,000 gold. Is there all right with what's going down on the bot side? If they can drop the members of TSM, it doesn't matter if a few have the Drake and Bjergsen is in. This happened before. The taunt almost cannot, they can't burn through Bjergsen after that. And now up to the hero's charge, gets himself back down to help the team. But that is Hauntzer going down. Svenskeren as well. Even with Bjergsen being the initial focus, Immortals still has the time, the strategy, and orchestrate himself around the fight.
Yeah, he has to use Mercurial to get out of there, but Immortals still marching towards the end of the game. Olay has another great initiation, just barely catches Bio on the edge of that ultimate, and that's gonna be it.
And they say it's our game to be played. You can go for Dragon, we're gonna go for the fights. It will give us the Nexus. And Immortals seeing a few steps ahead. Immortals taking game one over TSM.
Whoa, look at that. Immortals do what Cloud9 could not, taking game number one here in their series versus TSM. What outstanding performances from multiple members on this team. Flame in the top side, combining with Smithy for that first blood.
Yep.
Then we've got the roams from Olay, Pobelter on the Ahri. Whew.
Incrementally, too.
Look like they're a completely different team.
Absolutely. They didn't have to take down Flame a bunch. They took down Flame a few times, then they made sure they focused on other parts of the map. They made sure that Bjergsen's roams weren't getting off to too much. And Olay as well, helping out. It was like having the power of Xmithie somewhere else in the jungle, and they really just were able to catapult.
They drafted the extra mobility, but had to work around the stronger team fighting of TSM, and they used that mobility so well. Lots of picks.
Absolutely ridiculous for game one. For more on that Immortals win, let's send it down to the analyst desk.